So I grew up a football player. You know, I played football here in Texas. In
like
San Antonio.
soccer or like American football?
American football.
Where'd you go?
Madison.
Madison.
Yeah, and that's part of it, right? That's part of why, because like at Madison, especially at that time, there's like this culture, you know, of like winning, and like Texas football is a big deal. And ever since I was a little kid, I had older siblings, and my sister was a cheerleader. My brother was like in basketball. Like they're always in sports, and I was exposed to Madison specifically. Like I would go to all the games. I would watch all the players. Like there's like Gary Green and Anthony Arline, all these guys. But anyways, football was like my life from 7 years old till 18 years old. So when I graduated and football ended, I was like, who am I now? What do I do? You know, it's like my whole life was football all day, every day from 7 years old. And now I'm like done.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
that's really why the identity crisis.
It's like 11 years worth of.
Yeah, day in and day out. It's all I thought about, bro. It was so like obsessed. It was an obsession.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just like a passion. It was an obsession. And I didn't even think about like things that most high school kids think about. I didn't think about because maybe not most, but because I was so dedicated to football. I didn't think about college. I didn't think about life after football. It was just like, I got practice tomorrow. What I got to do to like do my shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so dedicated to it.
So how did you? The question I hear when I hear that is, how did you fall into that like limbo of like not looking out, and like who was around you to like not tell you those things? Like,
I guess probably like my parents probably could have started telling me like, hey, you need to start thinking about this or that, and they didn't. And I think they just let me be kind of who I was.
Yeah.
You know, which was like just all in on this. And like, I'm not a big dude. And I was always the underdog in football. I was literally the smallest kid on the team since I was 7 years old. Like every year, it was like I'm the shortest, I'm the smallest. But I was always a starter every time. I set myself apart. When I played in Madison, I played everything except for offense. And so I would set myself apart through effort and through my just like passion for the game. And mostly effort. You know, it's like when you're smaller, it's like with any sport, anything, right? You're the underdog. That means I just always had that dog in my head where it's like, I'm smaller than everybody, slower than everybody, even though I'm still quick and fast. There's still people that are faster than me. Not as strong as everybody, so that means I gotta work 5 times as hard, 10 times as hard. I just gotta do more work to like be on the same level. And I was able to play with people who went to the NFL. And it's like amazing to like think back to like, dude, I was like one-on-one with this dude, and now he's like playing in D1 college, playing in NFL. Is super cool. But I guess
Jace go there?
Jace went to Mac, and I played against him.
Okay,
yeah.
I trained him for a little bit.
Yeah, dope.
Yeah, maybe like 2 years I was training him.
Who's Jace?
Jace Amaro.
Amaro. He went to Texas Tech.
Football is the one sport I
don't know anything about
never
football.
in any. Yeah, I don't know.
If I didn't know him, I wouldn't know
shit
anything.
about
If I didn't know
football.
him, I wouldn't know anything.
Okay. You pulled your
he
one
was-
out the bag.
He was like,
I was waiting for that one. I was waiting for that one.
how tall? He's like what, 6'8" or 6'7"?
At least,
Like,
yeah, he's a big guy.
Big, bro.
Yeah.
But I took him down.
Big dude,
took him
bro.
Yeah.
That's a big,
He's a
you're
big guy.
super athletic, dog.
Yeah,
You're
well,
super athletic.
What helped was like I've been a tumbler since I was a kid, so I had air awareness that other people didn't have.
Yeah.
And I played, my main position was safety. I was a DB, so a defensive back. I'm guarding the receiver. So when the ball's in the air, I can control my body in the air better than most people because I'm used to flipping in the air.
Yeah.
So I can like get in the air and be able to twist my body around to be able to, you know, knock the ball down, catch the ball, whatever.
Right.
So that definitely helped. I didn't realize how much that helped until like after, you know, retrospect. I'm thinking like, oh, okay, that set me apart. That helped set me apart. But yeah, that's kind of what it's about. That's the short story.
Yeah.
So back to this
listen to
back to this whole. Not again, not to go like all deep into it, but
For sure.
was any of that football stuff that you had, that chip on your shoulder, that tough mentality, that dog? Did you carry any of that over when you were thinking, who am I now? Like you at least had those things in you to further on, right? Like no matter what it was going to be, you at least had those attributes, right? To pass
100%.
on.
Yeah. I mean, not only those things I think like I just kind of had those naturally, like a lot of us do. And they came
A lot of
out.
us don't.
Yeah, and a lot
of us don't.
For sure.
Yeah.
A lot of, and
I feel like the more people have them, like the people that have them, they assume other people do.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't hard to acquire because you were built with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like football made me realize what you just said though, because I would see people and they look like, all right, this dude's gonna be a baller, like this dude's gonna give me a tough fight, and then they'd be soft. You know, I'd be like, this dude's like 220, like he's like 6 foot, he looks like he's got all the gear on and everything, and then he's just soft. Just went down easy. And there's a lot of people like that, and most of the time the big dudes are like that. And that's why I
always feel like it's like that. I'm gonna let you finish. I always feel like it's like that because a lot of people approach them with that same mentality of, man, this guy's gonna beat me right.
Sure.
They don't have to try.
They don't have to put in so much effort.
They don't have to put in much effort.
A lot of people, they just let them have it.
Exactly.
And I always been like, like I'm the underdog. I'm expected to lose. So like, if you're gonna beat me, I'm gonna make you like work to beat me.
Right.
Like, and if I lose, that was the expectation, right? So nothing to lose. I got nothing to lose at this point.
That's a good point, man. There's a nothing to lose mentality that comes with it. Like you're like, fuck it. What do I got to lose? Like, I mean, I'm already expected to lose, so let's get at this. Let's do it. Like, fuck it. If I lose, I lose. I ain't got nothing to lose now. Let's fucking do it. Let's
put in
the work. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot. I mean, you guys both make good points. Like, these fucking bigger guys. I mean, no.
It's like the pretty girl that never gets asked out. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Like, same shit.
Everyone thinks that she's already got a guy or whatever. Like she always gets
or
asked
out of their league or
whatever.
whatever.
So she never gets asked out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. Somebody just called me.
But I guess to answer your question, I still had those things, and that was part of what made that experience so difficult. Is because I knew I had a lot of passion and I knew I had a lot to give, but I was lost in my life, and I didn't know where to dedicate it to. So it's like, I know I got a lot to offer the world, but like I don't know where to direct it to.
You're just a ball of energy.
It was hard because I'm like, bro, like what do I do with my life? What do I do with my time? What do I do with my energy?
How old are you right now? Like at this point?
I graduated when I was 17. And all that really started happening when I was about 18, 19.
Which is young to experience, because a lot of people don't feel that shit until they're like 20-something, where it's like, what am I doing?
Especially
maybe.
men.
Yeah,
maybe.
Fucking
late 20s.
Which is young,
is more
I feel like I kind of had that same kind of question. It came a little later than, I think it was probably around the same time. But I feel like the more that I say my story, the more people are like, wow, that's young to kind of feel that. But I can see that because there's people that are still walking around not knowing what they're doing.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Still haven't asked themselves that question, or still haven't reinvented themselves.
I say it all the time, man. Men don't fucking mature till maybe 35. They hit a new level. 30.
So you think 18?
That's
a tough time to ask yourself.
To be so like conscious of that in
not
general,
only that,
right?
It's not even to be conscious of it, but to expect an answer at that age. It's like,
and then to formulate an answer. So what was that answer? What was the
at
first
the time?
thing,
It was bodybuilding.
First movie you made?
Bodybuilding.
I never knew you were into bodybuilding.
Oh yeah, bro. I got
before?
big. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was the biggest I got was like 195. So I weigh 160 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like,
you got into bodybuilding.
Yeah, because that was the closest thing to football.
Okay.
Right? Like, what did I learn in football that wasn't football? Weight training. Well, I started weight training when I was 12 years old because I played football at 7. So as soon as you get in middle school, as soon as they're like, okay, you're about to be a teenager, all right, we're going to start teaching you Olympic lifts. Here's how to power clean. Here's how to squat. So I learned all that really young. And then after it's like, okay, well, I can direct this energy, like you were saying, right? It's like I got all this energy, I can direct it into fitness and bodybuilding and lifting. And so I just started lifting, and very, very stereotypical, like meatheads, like supplement junkie, bro. I ate like all kinds of shit, just like all kinds of shit trying to get big, took all kinds of supplements. I got a whole stack of supplements. But it taught me a lot, it taught me macronutrients. It taught me how to be organized in my meal prep. I never actually did like a bodybuilding show, but I was like planning to. But that was like my first like outlet, I guess. And then that led me down. I went very, very like hard into that, and that's what kind of like broke my body, and that's what led me to like juicing, and which is what I do now, and then birthed my business from that experience because I had like this. I overtrained my body for 3 years, 2.5 years. I would train about 90 to 95% of my 1 rep max, 6 to 7 days a week with no deload weeks. So my nervous system just got fucked. And then I was taking like pro-hormone boosters and like all this other shit that was allowing me to push even further beyond what I'm supposed to be able to push, and just didn't cycle off these things, didn't take any rest time, never stretched. I was like the opposite of what I do now. And that's why I do what I do now.
Exactly, yeah.
Was your testosterone affected at all from all that stuff?
I don't think so.
I see people's levels always, like, even like in women too, like their hormones are always messed up, like coming off that and stuff like that.
For sure. I think I got off of them young enough to where it was able to correct, and then I like completely changed my diet. I went like a complete 180, you know, and like on top of all that, like at the time, I was just like an asshole to people, and I was aware of it, and I actually embraced it. Like there was a time when I was like, you know what, like I'm an asshole, and like that's just who I am, and like I'm just gonna be that. I'm gonna be that guy. You know, and I was for a long time.
That's so weird to hear, dude.
Right?
That's so fucking weird to hear. Yeah, dude. That's nothing. Like I'm just like you're talking about a whole other person right now.
It was a whole different person. Like if you see pictures of me, you're like, yeah, this is a whole different guy.
That's crazy.
And I look different. My hair is different. My energy is different. I have friends that I'm still friends with now, who are like, yeah, dude, you're a different person. Like they used to call me a different name. You know, my nickname was Os. That's what my friends would call me. They're like, yeah, Os is gone.
That's when you were. That's when you were all G'd up.
Yeah,
95, torqued out. What pro hormone were you on? I'm curious.
I don't even know what it was, bro. Yeah, I don't even remember.
There was like some.
It was the company was. I don't even remember.
Because what are you right now? 27, 20,
28.
28. Yeah. So, but like 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
I probably stopped taking it 8 years ago. I was 20
ago?
when I stopped taking it.
Yeah.
And then
it's before some laws changed, so there was like
for
some serious
sure
shit and going. Yeah.
The same company that
like
makes
Geared Up Nutrition, I think, had like Torque. It was like an orange pill. It was like a really.
I remember that one. I never had that one.
Everybody was on that shit.
Yeah, I remember everybody talking about it, and I thought about it. I would do a lot of research though. Like everything I would take, you know, I experimented with a lot of drugs too, and like I would always read about it first.
Yeah.
Before I'm like, I'm not going to take anything without being educated. Yeah. So I read about Torque and I read things that I didn't like, so I never took it.
Yeah, it was an animal, man.
Yeah. Then I worked with a dude. I was working at HEB at the time in the produce department, and he was selling steroids, and he was always trying to get me on steroids. And I'm like, nah, dude. I considered it, and I'm like, nah, I don't need that. I don't need that shit. Even though what I was taking was like basically a steroid.
Yeah.
It's just like a legal steroid.
Not injecting it.
Yeah. For sure, it's a pill form.
I mean, at that point, with some of the shit you might have been or might not have been taking, like at that point, you might as well have found like a clean provider of like testosterone or whatever form of steroid at that point. That would have probably been more beneficial, in all honesty, with the amount of it. It's a problem with a lot of people that take steroids is they don't educate themselves.
For sure.
They don't take the time. They just kind of go by whatever their friends say.
Because that's not the goal. The goal is just get big.
Overdose themselves.
They don't want to get smart. They want to get big.
At all costs.
Yeah, but I mean, even with the getting big, you still got to put in the work. You still got to eat correctly. You know, you can't fucking, smash like 3 cc's, 5 cc's of like testosterone and whatever else in that fucking syringe, and then go eat Whataburger every day after you lift really heavy, if you're 90% max 6 days a week, just because you have the energy to do it. I saw that shit all the time at Gold's. And then people popping the ligaments or their chest or their pec muscles or their quads or ripping this and ripping that because 2 weeks ago they weren't on anything, and then 2 weeks later, like, they got a little bit in their system, they're feeling really fucking good, so they decided to like increase their load by like 200 pounds instead of like maybe just 50 or 75. Like, bro, you were just, I remember this thing will be happening. There was this one kid, he like wanted to bench like 4 something, like he was feeling it, he was fucking on it, he probably just, I don't know, it was probably like 2 days after he had fucking like pinned himself or whatever, and couple weeks before that, the dude's benching like 185 maybe or something like that, even he's like, I'm going for 400, dog, because he's feeling really good, and he can get it up, like he got it, he was fucking, amped up. Yeah. Well, his fucking pec just popped. Damn. You just see his pec like hovered over here, and it's just like, bro, like, just because you feel good doesn't mean those ligaments and tendons and everything else is caught up yet. Like, that shit takes some time. Like, you still have to take care of your body. I think those are really huge mistakes that a lot of people that takes. It's just not educating yourself, period, and understanding like the science behind it as well. Best way to do it now is just go to the fucking doctor. I mean, there's just testosterone clinics and what is it? Like test rehab? No, I forget what it's called. What the right word is for it, but they're everywhere. Yeah, just fucking go there. Yeah. Have somebody monitor your blood levels and inject you every week or get you back up to feeling like you're 18, 20 years old again. I mean, that's, you know what I mean? Instead of fucking so many people. But anytime I hear that, like I hear something like that, I start thinking like, because you got people like that are pushing the shit on people that are younger or just people in general, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just trying to make money.
Yeah, that's how that dude was. Like, he was pushing on me all the time. And I work with this dude like every day. And he's like, bro, you need to get on this shit. And he was exactly what you described, like not really putting in the work, eating a bunch of bullshit, and just taking steroids. And like, I'm like, bro, you're fucking your hormones up. When you're like in your 40s, they're gonna be fucked. And that dude, he's doing the same thing he was doing 10 years ago. He's still at HEB. He's still at the same store. He's doing the same shit, and he looks definitely worse than he did before. But yeah, that's like the little short touch on it. Y'all definitely can hear the whole thing.
Cool. Yeah, well, I'm gonna go in there, man.
But that's part of the reason why when I started juicing and I went plant-based and I started doing yoga and I started stretching, it was so like profound to the people around me, because it was like a complete 180. Like, what? This dude who was like a meat eater, like bodybuilding, like all this shit, now he's doing yoga, now he's eating plants, and now he's like nice.
I feel so much better now, though, right?
So much better. Night and day, bro. Like, so much better.
Really,
and I perform
healthy.
better.
You live really healthy. Like, I mean, I'm not with you every minute of the day. You know, I just got to go by what I know about you and what I see and shit like that. And your lifestyle revolves around like Emjayze, Re-Up, you know, Famous Juice. I see, you know, the meals that you post here and there. You know, you live pretty fucking healthy, bro. Like,
I try.
I applaud it. It's a tough life to live. Like, it really is. A lot of people can't do it. You know, just being fucking vegan, period. You know, straight vegan, right?
Yeah, it takes discipline. But that's anything in life, right? No matter what lifestyle you choose, like, you're gonna have to be disciplined, unless you're just like, whatever, I'm just down for whatever.
What came first, Famous Juice or Re-Up is in Famous Juice? Explain that to me again.
The Re-Up station is the newest.
Okay.
And we opened that this year, and it's like the zero waste store. Famous Juice was my first business I started, and I started it back in 2014 after this whole experience. Because I went to all these different doctors and none of them knew what was wrong with me. Basically, I had like this tingle between my shoulder blades that over the course of 2013 spread to like muscle spasms throughout my whole body. And then it was very similar symptoms to like fibromyalgia or rheumatoid arthritis. So they tested me for those things, and none of the markers showed up. So they were like, I went to 5 different doctors, all different like specialties, and all of them were like, we don't know what's wrong with you. So like all of them were just, come back in 3 months and we'll take more tests. And that was the hardest part, you know, because it's like the experts don't know what's wrong with me. Now what do I do? I don't know what to do. So that's why I started like looking into other things, and that's when I discovered juicing. I found a documentary on Netflix all about juicing, and I'm like, this makes sense. You know, it's raw fruits and vegetables in a liquefied form, so it's easy for your body to absorb. Like, I'll try this. What do I have to lose? Like, I tried all this other shit. Let me just try this. And like, that's what did the trick for me. You know, it just reversed all those symptoms, gone. And I did a 21-day juice fast on January 1st, 2014. And I did yoga and meditation every day. Bro, those 21 days completely transformed me. I lost about 25 pounds that I didn't think I had 25 pounds to lose. And then I just like, mentally, physically, and spiritually, bro, I became a different person. And it was that experience that launched Famous Juice, because I shared it on Facebook, and all these people were just like, dude, what the hell have you been doing? You're like a different person. You're glowing. Like, people would see me in public that I went to high school with, and they'd be like, is that Amos? Is that you? And I was like, yeah, it's me. And they couldn't even recognize me, because I just went from this like big bulky bodybuilder to like this lean, and I was shredded, bro. I hadn't worked out in a year. I had to stop working out, because anytime I would do anything physical, I would get muscle spasms. And so like about 4 months into it, there was one specific time when like my friends invited me to play volleyball, and I was like, I know I shouldn't go because like shit's gonna happen. But I was like, no, I need to go hang with my friends, you know, like I'm gonna like isolate myself. So I went and I just kind of sat on the sidelines and I watched them, and I was just like, this is fucking dumb. Like, I can play volleyball. I should go play volleyball. And so I did, and I forced myself, and I played for about 2 hours. After that, my shoulder just locked like this. It was just stuck. It wouldn't move, and back here was like hard as a rock, bro. Like, it was just like stuck, and I had a frozen shoulder for like 2 days. And that's when I like was like, all right, I can't do shit. And that was also the hardest part, because part of why I was doing bodybuilding and just going so hard in the gym is because I had a lot of this emotional pent up energy too, and I had some relationship issues from high school that I didn't let go and deal with. And so I would just go hard in the gym. You know, anytime I had some shit on my mind or on my heart, I'll just go hard in the gym. And now I have this health issue, and I want to go let it out in the gym, but if I do that, it's going to make it worse. So then it was like this cycle of like what I had no outlet now. Like you asked me, what was that outlet? It was like bodybuilding. And then bodybuilding put me in this position, as well as bad nutrition and overtraining, put me here, and now I have no outlet. And now I'm in a worse scenario. And then I got arrested for possession of marijuana. And that was kind of like the final straw. It was like on every level of my life, I was just broken.
Wow.
But I needed to be broken, because then when I went through that experience, the 21 days, shared it, all these people started calling me, texting me, messaging me, asking me. Literally for about 45 days, a new person came over to my house every day to learn about juicing and what I had been doing. And then that's when it kind of hit me, because I've always been entrepreneurial since I was a little kid. And I was like, I think I can make these people juice. Like, these people are interested. And some of them would say something along the lines of like, I really want to do this, but I don't have the time, or I don't want to go buy a juicer. And like, I was like, well, shit, I'm making juice every day. I can make you juice.